Imagine this for a second. Those really quiet hours, just before dawn breaks, over New Delhi.
Yeah, that pre-sunrise calm.
Exactly. The city's mostly still asleep. But then, on August 22nd, 2025, around 6:30 in the morning, boom, stillness shattered.
Uh-huh.
An unexpected drama unfolds at, of all places, India's Parliament complex,
Yeah.
one of the most symbolic, most guarded spots in the nation.
Right.
This wasn't, a scheduled protest or anything like that. It was a major security lapse,
Yeah.
a real shockwave through security circles.
Absolutely. A genuine wake-up call.
So today we're doing a deep dive. We're looking at exactly what happened, how it challenges our ideas about security, and why this matters way beyond just this one incident.
It's such a stark reminder, isn't it, that even these places we think of as fortresses, they face constant evolving challenges.
Totally.
It really brings vulnerabilities to the surface, things we often just gloss over, assuming places like Parliament are impenetrable.
That's a great point. And our mission here for this deep dive is really to get past just the headlines. We want to pull out the key pieces of knowledge, the important nuggets, so you, our listener, can grasp not just the facts, but the really fascinating, maybe slightly unsettling implications.
Yeah, the ripple effects.
Exactly. So, okay, let's unpack this. Let's get into the details of that morning.
Let's do it.
So let's zoom right in. 6:30 a.m., August 22nd, 2025. Heart of New Delhi. Picture the Parliament complex. Huge place.
A massive...
Symbolic center of India's democracy. You think high walls, fortifications, designed to keep everyone unauthorized out, period.
That's the idea, yeah.
But this morning, well, apparently the usual wasn't enough. Can you walk us through how this breach actually started?
Absolutely. And what's really striking is how, well, simple it was, the how of it.
Okay.
So this individual approached the complex from a side area right near Rail Bhavan. That's the Railways Ministry headquarters. It's literally right next door.
Right, adjacent. I know the area.
That closeness turned out to be key because what they did next was, well, pretty basic but incredibly determined. They used a tree.
A tree. Seriously.
A nearby tree as a sort of makeshift ladder, something
Yeah.
you might walk past 100 times and never think of as a security risk.
Wow. Okay.
And with, surprising determination, they scaled the boundary wall, got over what should have been a major obstacle.
Just climbed a tree and hopped the wall.
Yeah.
That's something. So once they were inside, what then? What was the immediate goal? And how fast did security react?
Right. So once they were over, they didn't just stand there. They jumped down onto the Parliament grounds and started moving pretty directly towards the Garuda Gate.
Garuda Gate. And for listeners who might not know, Garuda is that mythical eagle-like bird, right?
Right.
A protector figure.
Exactly, a powerful protector in Indian mythology. So there's a definite irony there, isn't there? An intruder heading straight for the protector gate.
Yeah. Bit ironic.
But this is where the response kicked in, and it was crucial. Security personnel, specifically the CISF, the Central Industrial Security Force.
They took over recently, right? May 2024.
That's right. They took over from the Parliament Security Service. So the CISF, along with support from Delhi police, they spotted him almost immediately.
Okay, so good eyes on the ground.
Very quick spotting. There wasn't a long chase or anything. They rushed in, apprehended the individual apparently without much struggle, and then handed him over to the local police.
For questioning, obviously.
For extensive questioning, yes.
It's good they spotted him so quickly, despite the initial breach. Now, before we get into the historical context, which I definitely want to cover, how solid are these details? You mentioned various sources.
That's a really important check. And what's quite striking here is the consistency.
Okay.
The narrative, the time, the method with the tree, the quick apprehension. It was reported very uniformly across, well, pretty much all the major reliable sources.
Like who?
Hindustan Times, the Indian Express, NDTV, Economic Times, also India TV, WION, and news agencies like ENS and UNI.
So a broad consensus on the basic facts.
Exactly. No real conflicting accounts on the core sequence of events, which gives us pretty strong confidence in this narrative we're discussing.
Good to know. That consistency helps ground this. Now, the person involved. What do we actually know? And what's still up in the air? Identity, motive?
Well, that's where things get a bit murky, officially. Their identity hasn't been released.
Tight-lipped.
Very tight-lipped about motives, too. Which naturally leads to all sorts of speculation. Was it a protester, someone with a grievance, or maybe just, some kind of bizarre stunt?
Adventurous trespasser, yeah.
Could be. The investigation is digging deep, obviously. Background checks, connections, what they were carrying.
Anything on that? What they had with them?
Initial reports, thankfully, said no weapons or obviously suspicious materials. That's a relief, of course.
Definitely.
But the probe is designed to look much closer. They won't leave any stone unturned trying to figure out the why.
Understood. So when something like this happens at Parliament, my mind immediately jumps to the history. This isn't just breaking into an office building.
Not at all.
This is the heart of India's democracy. What past events make securities folks just shudder when something like this happens? Why does it hit such a nerve?
You're absolutely right to bring up history. The weight of it is immense here. This isn't, as you said, a run-of-the-mill break-in.
Right.
The Indian Parliament.
Yeah.
It's where laws get made, huge debates happen. It's supposed to be the voice of over 1 billion people. So any threat, any breach, it feels like a strike right at the core of governance itself.
It's incredibly symbolic.
Hugely symbolic, and that makes the stakes incredibly high. Now, to really grasp the gravity, you have to think back to December 13th, 2001.
The attack on the old Parliament building.
Exactly. 5 heavily armed terrorists from groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed stormed the building. It led to this horrific shootout. 9 people died, including security personnel.
A devastating day.
Truly devastating. And that event wasn't just a tragedy. It triggered massive, sweeping changes in security. Better intelligence, much stronger perimeters, the works.
And that wasn't the last major incident, was it? Something happened more recently, too.
Correct. Fast forward to December 2023. A very different kind of incident, but still significant. 2 individuals jumped into the actual Lok Sabha chamber.
From the visitors gallery, I remember that.
Yes, from the gallery. And they released smoke canisters. It was a protest, but it caused chaos.
Right, lawmakers were suspended.
Suspensions happened, and critically for this discussion, it directly led to that switch in security responsibility from the Parliament Security Service to the CISF in May 2024.
So that 2023 incident was the direct trigger for bringing in the CISF.
Precisely. It was seen as needing enhanced, more specialized protection, so you see this pattern. Incidents happen, and security evolves, often reactively. It's a constant learning curve.
So we have this history, major attacks, protests inside the chamber, constantly evolving security. And yet here we are talking about someone climbing a tree.
Yeah.
How does that kind of low-tech breach force security experts to rethink things? It feels like simple human ingenuity versus high-tech defenses.
That's exactly the dilemma, isn't it? You invest millions, billions probably, in high-tech solutions, AI cameras, sensors, biometrics, trying to build this impenetrable shield.
Right, state-of-the-art.
And then something like this happens. It wasn't a sophisticated cyber attack, wasn't an insider job. It was basic, physical, using an everyday object.
The tree.
The tree. It forces planners to ask, are we maybe too focused on the complex threats? Are we overlooking the obvious, the simple, almost mundane vulnerabilities right in front of us?
Like you said, the unlocked window analogy. You have the best alarm.
Yeah, Kritty, the tree here becomes this potent symbol of how a natural, unassuming element can be exploited by someone determined enough. It demands a review of the basics.
That analogy really lands.
Yeah.
And it makes you think about the sheer physical size of the Parliament complex. How big are we talking, and what are the typical defenses supposed to handle?
Well, it's a vast area. The complex spans about 65 acres. That's pretty big.
55 acres, okay.
And there are multiple entry points, not just the Garuda Gate we mentioned. There's Makar Gate, others too, often named after these mythical figures, adding that cultural layer.
Adds a certain gravitas.
It does. And the defenses are impressive on paper. Hundreds of CCTV cameras, metal detectors everywhere you enter, rapid response teams literally on standby.
And the layered forces, CISF inside, Delhi police outside.
Right. The CISF handling the inner sanctum, the VIP protection, and Delhi police managing the outer perimeter. It's designed as this robust, multi-layered system. It should work.
So given all the size, the layers, the tech, the dedicated forces, when a simple tree climb succeeds, what does that do psychologically to the security teams? And does it create a dilemma for allocating resources? High tech versus, well, looking at trees.
That's a really insightful question. For the security teams on the ground, yeah, an incident like this has to be a bit of a blow. Demoralizing, maybe?
You'd think so.
They're highly trained, they're supposed to be vigilant, and yet this simple method worked. It forces an internal review, not just of the physical setup, but maybe their own threat perception. Are they looking for the wrong things? And resource allocation is absolutely critical. Where do you put the money? More AI for the perimeter? or more boots on the ground doing basic patrols, maybe even landscape assessments.
Checking for climbable trees, essentially.
Essentially, yes. This incident strongly suggests you need a more holistic approach. You have to integrate everything. You need to think about the most basic, unassuming environmental factors as potential risks.
Thinking like the adversary, even if the adversary is just using simple tools.
Precisely. You have to consider all angles, from the most sophisticated cyber threat down to someone with determination and a tree.
That's a powerful takeaway.
Hmm.
So beyond the immediate security reviews, what's been the public reaction? And what conversations are bubbling up about the future, especially with the new parliament building in the mix?
Public reaction has been really interesting. A mix, really. Deep concern on one hand,
Understandably.
and intense curiosity on the other. A lot of people, especially online, expressed alarm, pointing out quite logically that even if this specific intruder had no malicious intent, the fact that it happened could embolden others who do.
Yeah, it shows a potential vulnerability.
Exactly. Especially now, with global tensions being what they are. This has led to pretty loud calls for tech upgrades. People suggesting AI-driven drones for surveillance, better motion sensors near the boundaries, especially for off hours.
More eyes, automated eyes.
Right. And accountability questions, too. Why wasn't that tree seen as a risk? Are patrols sufficient in the early morning? Officials have, assured everyone a thorough review is happening.
We have to say that, of course.
They do. But there seems to be a genuine recognition that vigilance needs to keep evolving.
And what about the new parliament building? Does its design change the security equation, or does it face similar perimeter challenges?
That's part of the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
This incident really spotlights broader security challenges, not just for Parliament, but for many high-profile sites. The new building itself, inaugurated May 2023, it's got amazing tech inside.
Right, very modern.
Very modern. Digital systems, eco-friendly, all that. But as this breach shows, perimeter security, the outer shell, still involves these classic challenges. Experts are now talking more about integrating smarter barriers, maybe advanced fences, biometric scans further out.
But finding that balance, right, you mentioned not making it a fortress.
That's the crucial balance. You need top-notch security, absolutely, but Parliament also needs to remain symbolically accessible, open in spirit. You can't turn it into something that feels like a prison. It's about weaving tech in smartly, effectively, without sacrificing that democratic symbolism.
A tricky line to walk. So as this investigation moves forward, we might learn more about the intruder's actual intentions.
Hopefully.
If it turns out to be, say, a misguided stunt, maybe it ends quietly? But if there's anything more to it.
If it connects to something larger, yes, that could trigger nationwide alerts. A much bigger response.
Right, but for now, the business of Parliament continues. Monsoon session debates and all that.
Absolutely. Sessions are ongoing, debates on budgets, policies, that all carries on. The democratic machinery keeps moving, despite this security hiccup.
Well, this deep dive really underscores a fundamental point, doesn't it? Protecting democracy means vigilance has to be constant, and it has to adapt.
It really does. Whether the threat is a sophisticated cyber attack or, just a determined person with a simple plan and a tree, no system is ever truly foolproof.
Yeah.
Constant reassessment, adapting, paying attention to every detail, that's absolutely key.
And, incidents like this, they kind of humanize these huge structures of power, don't they?
In a way, yes.
They remind us that behind the marble, behind the big debates, there are real people. Guards putting themselves out there, lawmakers making decisions, and, well, you, the listener, expecting safety and order. So maybe the question it leaves us with is, beyond the shock, how does something like this redefine what secure or fortified even means? And what lessons can we take for protecting any important place in such an unpredictable world? What's the overlooked tree in our own systems?
That's the question to ponder.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Parliament security breach. We really hope it's offered a deeper look at the ongoing challenges and the vital lessons learned in safeguarding our crucial institutions.